Vacation season is nearly upon us. I know I'm going away soon, and I'm going to be treating myself to the luxe upgrades that I deserve with Quince's high-quality travel essentials and at fair prices. Like lightweight European linen styles from $30, washable silk tops and comfy lounge sets, with premium luggage options and stylish tote bags to carry it all. And the best part, all Quince items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. Because by partnering directly with top factories, Quince cuts the cost of the middleman and then passes the savings on to us. And Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices and premium fabrics and finishes. And I love that. My favorite right now, get the organic gauze shirt. My favorite is the Bayside stripe. Get it in that one. You're going to love it. For your next trip, treat yourself to the luxe upgrades that you deserve from Quince. Go to quince.com/KKC for 365-day returns plus free shipping on your order. That's QUINCE.com/KKC to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/KKC. Looking for a new beautiful, durable, and sustainably made rug at an accessible price? You've got to check out Revival Rugs. I just swapped out my son's rug. I got an 8x10 in sweatshirt. It is so soft on your feet. And if you're a parent like me, you're going to want to check out their popular line of washable rugs because they have the same high quality look and feel as a traditional rug. If your kids or your pets get your rug dirty, you can just pop it in the washing machine and it comes out fresh and clean. And I love that. Plus, they're a sustainable company. They use eco-friendly materials, including wool, cotton, recycled denim, and recycled polyester. It's a brand you can feel good about, and they've got affordable prices so your wallet can feel good too. Visit revivalrugs.com/realitylife and use the code KateCasey20 for 20% off your first order. That's revivalrugs.com/realitylife, code KateCasey20. One more time, revivalrugs.com/realitylife with code KateCasey20 to save 20% off your order.
The amazing Kate Casey.
Welcome back for another episode of Reality Life with Kate Casey, and happy Friday. I have such a great episode for you. For those of you who have been looking for something new in true crime, I've got something so good for you. It almost feels like Real Housewives meets true crime. And I know you're like, well, Real Housewives does have a lot of true crime, but I'm telling you, the characters here, so over the top, so amazing. This one is set in Arkansas. It is called Southern Fried Lies, and it premieres on Oxygen on Sunday, April 27th. And I'm telling you, you're going to love to watch this one. And it also will stream on Peacock on April 29th. So Camden, Arkansas is located about 100 miles south of Little Rock and 50 miles north of Louisiana. It's got a population of about 13,000 people. So pretty much everyone knows everyone. The only thing thicker than the humidity is the gossip. Donna Herring, again, she's like straight out of Real Housewives meets Abby from Dance Moms. She's Camden's unofficial mayor, and she's a proud pageant mom to daughter Alex, and believes the only man worthy of her affection is the local hero, Matt Jacobs. Well, Matt won a big settlement as a survivor of the Deepwater Horizon oil rig explosion, making him one of the wealthiest and thus most eligible bachelors in town. However, after Matt's unfathomable death, his last will and testament leaves the majority of his estate to Alex and very little to his only child, his teenage son, Jordan, which is weird. Well, after it's discovered that Donna forged Matt's will, law enforcement begins to investigate. As they move beyond the white-collar crime, they uncover a secret mistress and other inexplicable deaths and question if something potentially is more nefarious that could be at play. Donna's got a lot to say about it all, and she isn't the only one talking. So Southern Fried Lies reveals the insights of those in the community impacted most by Matt's death and Donna's duplicitous actions. In addition to Donna, Matt's son Jordan, the lead FBI agent, town coroner, and others speak out to share their side of events as the special examines all of the twists and turns of the case. Yet, many unanswered questions remain, but secrets and bodies don't stay buried for that long. There's still hope that someone may be able to answer them. So again, it's called Southern Fried Lies. You guys are going to get sucked in. And I was so thrilled to talk to the director and the executive producer. Here is my interview. Rachel and Joel, Southern Fried Lies. Didn't see this one coming. Where in the world did you find this story?
So I have family in Little Rock. Okay. And they told me about this really interesting case that was unfolding. So I heard about it right at the start of the case. And the details were just so intriguing. You know, there's this mother who's on trial, a forged will, millions of dollars at stake that were left to this like beauty queen fiance. Those millions of dollars were from a Deepwater Horizon rig survivor, the guy who survived the explosion. So just like those facts alone, I think were really interesting. And then, you know, like any documentary filmmaker, I just got really curious and decided to call Donna right out of the blue. I did not expect her to pick up the phone, did not expect her to talk to me. But within the first 15 seconds of that conversation, I think her very first words to me after I introduced myself and told her I'd been following the case, she said, well, then you know how I'm getting screwed by the federal government. Wow. And from then on, I was like, this is a story I need to document.
Right, because you need an over-the-top personality to get people to hang on to just the beginning part. I mean, right out of the gate, I'm thinking to myself, she belongs on The Real Housewives of Arkansas, without question.
I told her your next job after this is Dancing with the Stars. Like,
no, yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. She connects with people right off the bat. After that first phone call, that was enough for me to grab my cinematographer friend and said, we're going to Arkansas. We're going to this woman's sentencing. And it was the first time I met her in person. And she grabbed my hand and she said, you're sitting next to me. So I sat next to her while she was sentenced to 4.5 years in prison. She's magnetic and, you know, and a convicted felon.
But even when she says that, are you thinking, doesn't this say so much about you that you would want me, someone who just met you, who happens to, you know, have proximity to the entertainment industry? You've asked me to sit down and not someone else.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot to unpack there.
Well, certainly. Now, when you also find a subject like this as a documentary filmmaker, is there a little bit of panic in the beginning that there's somebody else who may find this story and may convince the participants to go with another network? I've always wondered that because I know I've certainly found stories and thought, oh my gosh, I hope that before this airs, no one else finds it, which is probably like a silly thought. But when you have such a rich story and characters and you're building relationships, is that something that filmmakers think about?
Sure. I definitely thought about that, but this is such a small town. And when I dug into the case itself, it wasn't really covered in it was covered in like very local newspapers, but it had barely even registered in Little Rock. It was pretty local to Camden. So I got to know these participants and got close to them. And so by the time I had developed the relationships, I wasn't really that worried that anybody else was going to find it because this is a really small town.
I, on the other hand, have been burned so many times by exactly what you say, where you're like about to go and then you find out, wait a minute. I mean, it literally just happened to me with a project that I was working on Bob Lee, right? The Cash App guy. Mm-hmm. And it was so disappointing after all the work that goes in. So I think the key thing, I believe, is one, you want to try and zag while everyone's zigging, like everyone's chasing Diddy and all these other things. And you have to realize whether you actually have a shot at that or not. And while you're doing that, I believe, sift for gold. And that's where I think we met Rachel and found this out. What she did, which was so smart, was locked her in with an agreement. And I got to tell you, the agreement was like ironclad in a way that when we handed it off to Peacock, they're like, can you just have her re-sign with these 2 words changed? It was like that.
That says a lot.
And so like, it just really speaks to, I think, Rachel's professionalism and that kind of news. So that I felt like it was less about someone else taking our idea and more about like, there were so many things that were happening as we like developed this and pitched it out. And did a development step with our friends at Oxygen and Peacock, that it felt like it was more like, wait, where does this story stop? And how do we like bring all of these things together, and what do we focus on more than like, did we have the participants locked?
I'm off to Hawaii soon, and I've been looking for great dresses, suits, bags, and sandals for my trip. You know who else needs stuff? My almost 16-year-old daughter. Now, where can I find all of those things in one place? Revolve. And I know that you love Revolve too. Over 1,200 brands and 100,000 styles from across high-end, emerging, and exclusive labels in fashion, beauty, and home goods. Consistently offering the latest and most sought-after trends in fashion from top brands like Lovers and Friends, Love Shack Fancy, Misa, and Zimmermann. I just ordered a pink Japanese dress, a gold clutch, gold sandals, and a monogram necklace, and I might even wear it to my niece's graduation too. Authentic, high-quality products, new arrivals daily, inclusive sizing. From last-minute getaways to party dressing and seasonal upgrades, Revolve has you covered with fast 2-day shipping and easy returns, all on them. And for a limited time, you can shop a curated selection of my favorite styles at revolve.com/Kate Casey and receive 15% off your first order with code Kate Casey. That's revolve.com/Kate Casey to shop my top picks and get 15% off your first order with code Kate Casey. The offer is only valid for a limited time, so do not miss out.
Avoiding your unfinished home projects because you're not sure where to start? Thumbtack knows homes, so you don't have to. Don't know the difference between matte paint finish and satin? Or what that clunking sound from your dryer is? With Thumbtack, you don't have to be a home pro. You just have to hire one. You can hire top-rated pros, see price estimates, and read reviews all on the app. Download Thumbtack today.
Well, Jill, you're someone who loves Real Housewives, so I would love for you to describe Donna.
First of all, this is how she came to me. She's like, she's like, I just want you to know that like I'm not one of those gay people that doesn't like the gay people. And I love the sinner and, that whole thing. And by the way, I'm just like looking at her and I'm like, do you know what you're saying is like totally offensive? But at the same time, I'm like, I'm in. And so I find her both, troubling and intoxicating. I think she's such gold TV, and the way she talks, for me, she's like one of those people who she has a one-liner for everything.
Yes.
You see in the trailer. You see her as this operator within the town. Like nothing happened with this case until the lawyer representing Jordan, Matt's, the deceased son, went to the FBI outside the ecosystem. So this is who she's going to kill me for saying this, because this is like the one thing she's like, I don't run the town. She told Rachel that, I think, yesterday. But she's a kingmaker, right? And she makes things happen. And so you've got this like person who we kept talking about as a comp, whether it was like a chimp crazy or Tiger King, these characters who like say all these crazy things, they operate with impunity. You're laughing at them in spite of yourself. But then when you boil it down, it's a lot of really questionable, troubling, potentially illegal behavior, right? And that's what we were trying to sift through.
It also seems like she's the kind of person that is very clever at doing things for you in such a way that you feel that you're obligated to be of help to her. Even if it's simple as like, I brought you lunch. Suddenly you realize like, oh, I'm almost in bed with this person now because I've made them part of my life, because they did that one small thing and now they're really in my life.
You hit the nail on the head. There was a lot of that. And I had to, from the very beginning, be very clear all the way through. I'm here to talk to everyone, anyone associated with this case, with both families, law enforcement. I want to hear everyone's story, including yours. I want you to tell your story, and I'm not going to judge you, and I'm not going to fact check you. Just talk. But yeah, there was a lot of that. And I think for Donna, just being able to say out loud, you're on my side, right? Just being able to say that out loud to a person even if there's not really a confirmation back, like, oh yeah, I'm absolutely on your side.
She doesn't even need to make soup for you. She gets on the phone with you and says things, you're on my side, or you'll do this, Joel, right? Or Rachel. Like, I was just like, yes. Like, you want to, in my mind, I want to say that. I think that, there's also a potential risk. I think there have been some, I don't want to spoil anything for anyone, but there are things that she's been convicted of, and there are things that she has not been convicted of.
Right.
That by speaking out loud could put one at risk for prosecution, potentially. Did I cover that right in a way that doesn't get me sued? So like what I said to her was, we had done the Hillsong doc that actually featured Carl Lentz, who was at the center of the Maelstrom, right? And with that one, we had to like be really careful because we wanted Carl to tell his story, but we also didn't want to re-victimize people. And yet to get Carl on board, I had to be like, I'm not going to gotcha. I'm not going to do any of these things. And I put that forth as an example to Donna to say, we can't not ask you the hard questions, but what we can do is not like gotcha in any of this. So that was sort of how we went forward. And I just sort of tiptoed back because I felt like it was, in order to have it remain a clear head with her, I wanted like the space and to let Rachel and the team who had found her and also like cultivated the relationship do that part of the work, that I could remain clear from her. Like, it's seeping into my brain because she's just, she knows how to pull people over without even giving you the soup.
It also makes me think about her relationship with her daughter. And I love it's sort of this open-ended question of, is this a mom who just steamrolls her child into things? Is this a child who didn't have a chance to have their own voice ever? The fact that, you've spent time in this community and gotten to know her, what can you tell us about Alexis and her relationship with her?
Yeah. So we gave Alex multiple opportunities to participate. And I really wanted her to come on camera because I think silence is kind of worse than just, being honest and showing up. And she declined. And I think that there's a lot that I think her declining to participate, declining to show up for her mom, I think it speaks volumes. I think it speaks it's maybe even a bigger statement that she is just so distancing herself from this chapter in her life, which you have to remember. I mean, we're both moms. You have to remember, like, she was a kid when she met. She was a teenager when she met Matt. And so I've always felt a little bit conflicted about trying to, just offer her some grace because that period
for sure
in her life could not have been easy by any means. A mother who is so loud, it's not that easy. But yeah, Alex, I respected her decision, and I think what's really interesting, what's going to be really interesting for audiences to sort through. We interviewed Donna over the course of years. And so the earliest interviews are Donna telling her story. And then I would interview people in town, law enforcement, people whose job it was to collect evidence and find the facts. And I would present that evidence and those facts back to Donna so she could respond to it. And I think it's very interesting to see and watch how she responds to these really damning things being said about her and against her, given what we know about how her initial actions hurt her daughter. She just keeps going. It's almost like she doesn't really know when to stop.
She doesn't.
No.
But also, I mean, Rachel and I were talking yesterday as we were prepping a little bit for this, and I didn't know this, but her sister and brother-in-law live across the street from her and don't talk. These are the ones who signed that the will was in fact real when it was fake, and also are felons along with Alex and the whole thing. And so they, you have a family that, like, because of her sheer will with this whole the will of changing, the will and all the different things that have happened in the course of this time, she's alienated her in the lion's share of her family, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so the irony in the whole thing is that she's not like she's being punished in ways that are outside the court system for if not like illegal activity, at least how she has not kept safe the people that she regards the most.
Here's a tip for growing your business. Get the Venture X business card from Capital One and start earning unlimited double miles on every purchase. That's right. With unlimited double miles, the more your business spends, the more miles you earn. Plus, the Venture X business card has no preset spending limit, so your purchasing power can adapt to meet your business needs. The Venture X business card also includes access to over 1,000 airport lounges. Just imagine where the Venture X business card from Capital One can take your business. Capital One, what's in your wallet? Terms and conditions apply. Find out more at CapitalOne.com/VentureXBusiness.
Craving your next action-packed adventure? Audible delivers thrills of every kind on your command, like Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir, where a lone astronaut must save humanity from extinction, narrated with stunning intensity by Ray Porter. From electrifying suspense and daring quest to spine-tingling horror and romance in far-off realms, unleash your adventurous side with gripping titles that'll keep you guessing. Discover exclusive Audible originals, hotly anticipated new releases, and must-listen bestsellers that hook you from the first minute. Because Audible knows there's no greater thrill than the one that speaks to you. Discover what lies beyond the edge of your seat. Start your free 30-day trial at audible.com/WonderyUS. That's audible.com/WonderyUS.
This is like one of the most interesting personality types. What is the one thing that you're going to is going to tug at you after working on this project? Is there a specific personality, something specific about the culture in Camden?
There were a lot of themes that emerged as we worked through the, parent-child themes. And one thing that really sticks out for me about Camden in particular is how social media has gotten a grip of this community and the things that are said about your neighbor and people in town on social media. It's really kind of shocking, surprising, damaging to a lot of folks. That was kind of hard to watch. And it didn't really necessarily have anything to do with this film, but I think that people love stories in the South and in these small towns because there's this mystique of neighbors love each other and everybody knows each other and everybody supports each other. And there's certainly a ton of that in Camden, Arkansas. The physical spaces for that are the pawn shop and the hair salon. Those are the two places that are featured in the doc. And these people couldn't be nicer. But then there is this truth, especially in this town, that there's something really dark simmering underneath. And all of that comes out on Facebook. So we explore a little bit of it in the doc, but that is something that is staying with me.
For me, it was more like you watch this and it's, we're watching it for the suspense as if you'd read a suspense novel or something like that. But they're real people with real trauma. And Jordan, the son in particular, really moved me because I just thought, oh, this is like fighting for the money. But what you really get is in him and the end of the relationship with his father before his father died was not at the best moment. And then the will comes out and nothing goes to him. And he took that as a rejection by his father. That was so heartbreaking, right? And then the whole time you hear him, and he says this in the documentary, I just wanted to know my dad loved me, right? And I felt like there was this cathartic process of going through all of this with Jordan.
Oh, I'm sure.
He came to some sort of terms with his father as a human being and as a man. And in that time, he had his own son. And so he could see what it was like to be a son and a father. And he could see where his father, could have done better, but he also forgave him in some ways. And so for me, that journey was the most important, because I felt like if you don't have that parental thing, it can haunt you for your life. And there was no conversation with his father. So we had to somehow reconcile all of this with facts that were lies. And then in sifting for the truth and having his own son, it's my hope and wish from the deepest part of my heart that like he finds some healing in all of this.
I also feel like that's the beauty of the fact that you chase the story over a period of time. Like, had you just filmed them in like the immediacy of it, you may not have been able to tell that broad story, which is really powerful. And by the way, who doesn't resonate with that? Like, there's a relative, maybe it's not your parent, but someone that you didn't get an answer to, and over time you have it. Your feelings evolve, especially when you become a parent. You see things in a different way. You know what I feel like this is? This is like White Lotus, but not at a resort. I mean, am I wrong?
Yeah.
No, you're wrong. You know that these looming things, right?
Yeah. It's like totally Posey, but without a caftan.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, those themes are universal. You're right. I mean, even if you're not a parent, you have a parent or you had a parent, and wanting that love and validation from your parent is absolutely something that made me feel like I could tell this story honestly. Because, you know, in the early, when you're starting to develop a documentary and you have to answer a lot of questions, like if you ever apply for a grant, you have to explain why you're the right person to tell this story. And that was hard for me for this one, because I'm not from Arkansas. I'm not embedded in this community. I'm not even like an investigative true crime filmmaker. But what really hooked me on this one were these themes of parent and child relationships. That was something I could totally lock into and see and feel, especially when I talked to Jordan, just like Joel said. So I think that I think that a lot of people are going to connect with that.
I love the White Lotus analogy, right? Because I think part of what Rachel's talking about with all of this is that people don't want to talk necessarily on camera or in a way that is like, doesn't allow them some wiggle room, right? Like when I talk off the side in the hallway or whatever, it could be, well, I meant it like this, or my tone was more like this when maybe I said it to like, you girl, what a mess, you know? And so in this thing, no one wanted to talk on camera. We know that there was this death with Matt, and then everyone is like sort of wiggling around trying to figure out how to best go forward with what they believe and what they want to have happen. But you see everyone from Jimmy, who worked at Poison Control, with Matt, also ends up dead, and no one from his family wanted to talk. And then at the last minute, his niece comes on camera, and there's this sort of reckoning for what she thought overall with this. And we know Lori, who was the other person who died. There was a thing over her, and was that an accident? Was that intentional? Who was behind it? But what we also know is that she was being bullied, and you know, there's a twist with Matt in there that I'll save for the doc. But like, there's all these things that were happening that like each person is in their own thing, and the murder that we find out, or not the murder, the death rather, that we find out, we hear about at the beginning, thrusts all these characters on a path that we go through. And in that way, I really get the White Lotus analogy, because as time goes by, people are really starting to speak and say what they think, until finally the FBI comes into the whole thing and ends up exhuming the casket and all these crazy things that happen once it's sort of taken out of the small town and into the larger FBI, where they don't have, you know, these sort of local influences guiding the process.
Also feels like White Lotus, because by the end you're like, whoa, wait, what? It's like so fast-paced and quick. Yeah, I really love this. And you know, I love a good con or grifter story. They're always my favorite. And I think everyone's going to love this, especially if you liked White Lotus, you like Real Housewives. I feel like it's like a mix of both, don't you think?
I can retire.
It's like White Lotus meets Real Housewives. So Southern Fried Lies premieres Sunday, April 27th at 6 p.m. Eastern. I'm thrilled for everybody to see this. Great job, you guys. I really loved it.
Thank you so much for honoring me on here. Big fan of your work. And
thank you.
Here, tracking you everywhere and laughing along the way. So appreciate all that you do in the space.
Well, tell everybody where people can find you, Joel, because you get fired up about a lot of the same shows that they like.
I'm at Chiodi on Instagram. Is I think the best way to find me. Thank you.
Thank you guys so much.
All right.
Thank you, Kate.
The amazing Kate Casey.
I want to thank Rachel and Joel and remind you to go and make sure that you're subscribed to this podcast and leave a 5-star review. Please join the Facebook group, Reality Life with KKC. You can get bonus episodes by going to Patreon, patreon.com/KKC. And also my What to Watch list is at katecasey.substack.com. Make sure that you follow me on social media. I'm on Instagram at KKCCA, TikTok it's KKC, and Twitter, Threads, and Blue Sky at KKC. And check back tomorrow for an all-new Saturday series episode.
In 1976, a Georgia native, Navy veteran, and peanut farmer named Jimmy Carter won his bid for the presidency. What Carter didn't know then was that the next 4 years would be the most difficult he could ever imagine. Hi, I'm Lindsey Graham, the host of Wondery's podcast, American History Tellers. We take you to the events, times, and people that shaped America and Americans, our values, our struggles, and our dreams. In our latest series, we explore Jimmy Carter's time in the White House, from his unexpected presidential victory as an outsider vowing to clean up Washington, to his remarkable diplomatic breakthroughs and legislative accomplishments on energy, education, and the environment. But Carter also faced crushing challenges as he worked to lead the country through energy shortages, sky-high inflation, and the Iran hostage crisis. Follow American History Tellers on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. Experience all episodes ad-free and be the first to binge the newest season only on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify. Start your free trial today.